Hey everyone, Sam and Chris from Wyvern Kodiak here. Before we get started, like and subscribe, check out some of the other videos and content that we have on our channels. Thanks a lot. Hey everyone, Sam at Wyvern Kodiak. I am here checking out something for our friends over at Buerkles Cerakote. My friend Brad reached out and he said, Sam, I handle knives all the time, and finally I decided I'm going to make one. And, well, he's got a few now, but you want to check one out is what he said. And I was like, let me think here. US made, handmade, right here in my home state of Indiana from my buddy Brad. Oh, hell yeah. Duh. So Brad hooked me up, sent me one to review. I'm obviously not keeping this. We're going to be moving this on, but still appreciate having the opportunity to get my hands on something like this. Grateful for that. And Brad is an artist. If you've ever seen his Cerakote work, phenomenal. And you know, if that's any indicator, my guess is going to be that his knives are going to be works of art as well. So let's get into this thing here. And we were reaching into our little black bag here. Oh, hell yeah. Check that thing out. Y'all always ask for something different that isn't machine made and common all over the place. Well, let me tell you, Brad just delivered, right? Let's look this over here. So, obvious, it says Midi Knight. So that's the name of the model here. Brass overlays. This is going to be aluminum. Brass backspacer on this, all titanium hardware, by the way, on this. Pocket clip, feels like it's got good retention. You know we're going to test that. And some good sharp jimping. Oh yeah, this is my type of jimping. Heck yeah. So little bit about this knife here. I had reached out to Brad and I had said, Brad, before I do a review on anything, I like to ask questions. I like to know a little bit more about, you know, what is your intended use here? He said EDC. And then I said, Brad, what's this thing going to be running on? And he said, oh, the ceramic bearing. So cool. And then I said, all right, I got to know, where'd the name come from? And he said, Sam, I made this and I saw medieval knight armor. So Midi Knight, and you know, I hate to be like Captain Obvious, but duh, right? I guess that was just on me. So silly. But these are in pre-order right now, and he does like first in, first out. So if you want, check them out. Buerklescerakote.com. I will put a link in the description, as well as you should see it up on your screen while we're talking here. I'll drop it a few more times throughout this video, but Buerkles Cerakote, and they're doing pre-orders on these now. Now there's going to be a couple of options to this thing. This one right here is aluminum with 1095 for this blade steel. But if you want to ramp it up and get the Primo edition, he will offer the titanium with MagnaCut blade. And again, all titanium hardware, still the brass overlay and the backspacer on this. So you're just going to get titanium on the handle and MagnaCut on the blade. So I would guess that you know, it's going to be pretty darn nice. So anyhow, let's look this thing over real quick and let's open this up. Fire's right out there. Detent on this thing it's a stiff detent. It is not a light detent. It is on the high end of medium, on the low end of stiff, which I love that. I love detents that are stiff. So you're not going to hear a complaint out of me, not in the slightest bit. And I absolutely love it. Very cool little detail, by the way. Right under the pocket clip here, BC, you know, Buerkles Cerakote, awesome. Love that little fine detail. It's not being billboarded on the blade or anything. It's almost hidden. And it was really something that I barely noticed, but it's there and it's very cool. So let's do some size comparisons using knives that we are all pretty familiar with, or at least we should be. That is a Benchmade bug out. This is a Demko 80-20.5, and we are smaller than both of those. And then if I were to say use a Kaiser drop bear, and then a Wharncliffe style Civivi Elementum, and we're right in the middle there between these two. So it's not a big knife, but it is a full-size knife still. So let's give you some specs on this thing. Overall length on this is 7 1/8. The blade on it is 3 1/4 inches. Cutting surface is at 3 inches, and the weight on this thing comes in at 4.2 ounces. So it's intended for EDC. I had asked Brad, you know, what did you make it for? He said EDC. He gave me all the details on it. Again, this is a handmade knife. This is not a machined knife. This isn't computers building this. This is all handmade right here in our home state of Indiana. So support local business, support a U.S. business, support you know, handmade. I love that. It's so cool. So let's talk ergos for a sec here. So ergonomics, I'm right here, not a hot spot, nothing, super nice, very comfortable. Even though there's not a lot of chamfering, there's not contouring on this, it is still very comfortable in the hand here. I'm not feeling any pinches from the pocket clip or the overlays or anything like that. So really, really nice. There's no choils or anything, so when you, I mean, this is about where you can go to, but I'm locked in. I mean, this jimping is razor sharp, nice, beautiful jimping. This is the stuff that, you know, you're locked in. You're not going anywhere. I'm not sliding over this jimping. This is really good stuff. It is super cool. And you know, one of the other things I really like about handmade knives like this is, and this isn't me pointing out an imperfection for anything, it's the marks, right? So the marks on the blade, on the grind, in here on the scales, you can see some machining marks for where he sanded and polished this. You know, he worked his fingers to the bone to make this knife. It's not a, it is not a knife that is machined to perfection, like you get out of China or like you get from any of these major manufacturers. This is a handmade piece. So really super cool, and I dig that. Love the blade shape on this, by the way. Just unique. Slight belly, like recurve right here on it. Drop point, swoops up, so you're really locked in right here. Gives you a little bit more jimping to get your thumb out. I mean, this is great right here. The blade hole on it, real funky shape. I don't even know what to call that, but I like it. It's different, and different is always welcome for me. You know, you see the same old everywhere. So seeing something different is pretty cool. Let's check out the pocket clip, right? You know that I'm a big stickler about pocket clips. Chris and I both are. So pocket clip, these are medium thickness jeans, and these are my test pants I use to see how pocket clips slide in and out of the pocket, how they retain the tension to the pocket, and if they're going to damage the edge of the pocket over time. So this is not a thick pocket clip. If you compare it against another knife like the Demko, or if you compare it against like you know, the Benchmade bug out, you know, it's a thin pocket clip, but it's an adequate pocket clip as far as size goes. It's not a big knife. It doesn't need massive pocket clip. Ooh, I swung and missed on that. Come on, Sam, wake up. All right, so it pops right in. It would have no issues whatsoever of popping in with one hand. The retention on it is not super tough, but it's not going to fall out easy. That's for sure. I wouldn't be too concerned about losing the knife. And yeah, it's not going to damage the pants or anything like that either. So I think this pocket clip is pretty good. If you look on it, it's got a nice lengthened ramp on it before the steep drop off on the underside. So I think it gives you plenty of space as far as that goes to get over the lip without doing too much damage to the edge there. Your seams and everything like that should stay just fine and dandy. So all in all, this knife is super cool. I really dig that it is handmade, that it is local to the home base here, Indiana-based business. You know, Brad is 45 minutes west of me, and I've absolutely talked to him about coming to his shop, hanging out with him coming here, hanging out. We're talking about possibly doing some sort of project. When we drop our knives, maybe I'll have a bunch Cerakoted by him for some one-offs or something like that. I think that would be super cool. You know, businesses helping businesses, but at the same time, gaining a friendship out of this, which was really nice. So let's talk things that are the negatives. And I have two. So the first one is the lack of sharpening choil. Is it a game ender? No. But it would be nice to have a sharpening choil over here where the plunge grind is. Give the blade some life without hitting the plunge grind. I think that would be important. I have spoken to Brad about that as well. And he is very receptive to some advice and some suggestions, and he's absolutely taking things under consideration. He said he's going to apply these in future models and things like that. So I can't wait to see him grow as a knife maker as well. I think that's awesome. The other thing is right here, this little divot right here in the blade hole is sharp. It's not like cut you sharp, right? I mean, I'm sticking my finger, I'm pushing it down hard right now. And I mean, it marks my finger, but I'm not cut or anything. It's not gonna cut me. It's just not comfortable. And you may not even run into it. If you're flicking from down low over here, you're not gonna get it. If you're flicking up high in the hole up here, you're not gonna get it. But you know, if you're going right in the middle of the spine on that to flick it open, you might catch your finger, and you know, it's just not comfortable. That's all. And again, I pointed that out and I told him, you know, just knock down the edge on that. Again, this is perfectly imperfect in my opinion. That's what I really want to call this knife. It's perfectly imperfect. It's not supposed to be this dialed, polished, manufactured piece that came from overseas. This is handmade in his shop by his hands, and that just makes it amazing, super cool. And to me, you know, I hold that near and dear. So I don't know, what do you all think? Would you want to check one of these out? Would you buy a Midi Knight from Buerkles Cerakote? And what are your thoughts on the fit and finish of this thing and its perfectly imperfect look that it has? So would love to hear from you. Like and subscribe. Give us a comment. And before I end this, you know what? One more time, buerklescerakote.com. Go there, check this out. Pre-orders are open. Again, 1095 blade aluminum scales, or if you want to go up to the higher end, it's Magna Cut blade. It is titanium scales, all titanium hardware, brass overlays, brass backspacer. Very cool, badass, handmade knife right here in my home state of Indiana, Buerkles.Cerakote.com. Check it out. Appreciate everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. You all take care.